tell that I have been struggling with sleep and over consumption of it, because I have been. How's it going? Good morning. It is almost 2 o'clock p.m. for me. And I just woke up. I'm not embarrassed. I'm thankful. Okay, figured I would check in. I started reading The Orphanage. That's gonna be the book that I read this week. I think I'll be able to read through it in a week if I designate myself the proper amount of time and really discipline my actions. Sleeping till 1 isn't the best. That's okay. That is okay. So far, this book's amazing. Zhadan's writing is very graphic, but necessary, and the way that he writes is there's no gratuitous sentences. Everything feels like it has to be put there to explain the situation perfectly. We're following a middle-aged man. His name is Pasha. He is trying to reconnect and pick up his nephew, I believe. Nephew? Yes, from an orphanage that is currently in war-torn Ukraine. And the ambiance of the novel so far is very gray. I'm on page 50 and so much has already happened. There's a lot of disconnection. There's a lot of disjointed ideas. There's a lot of furious and disgruntled situations. So, yeah, I'm really into it so far. I wouldn't say enjoying it. I would say I'm incredibly interested by it so far. So that's what's going on with that. I'll probably read that later today. I actually have a mission that I set for myself today. There is a, where am I gonna put this? Where am I gonna put this? Hello? There is a little free library, and of course everything's in Russian, which is great for me. But I want to drop off my copy of The Idiot. I feel like maybe somebody out there is looking for an English translated novel, and I can give this to them. And I figured, why not publicize my channel through it? Why not? Plus, you know, for all they know, I'm Stan, so it doesn't matter. All right, what should I write? Follow. No. It's fine. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? There we go. Complete with a beautiful scratch outline. You can make a lifelong friend. Who knows? I'm on a second mission today. I need to find nail polish. I want to paint my nails. I want to feel alive again. All right, I'm gonna take you around the city. I think that we're gonna have fun. Yeah. Let's do the thing, right? Okay, let's drop this bad boy book off. Give it a new home, rehome it. Yesterday this thing was actually full, so I have faith that my book will be taken. Let's get in here, you can see. There we go. I'm so sad to see. All right, I'll check in probably next week. Hopefully my indentation on my nose will also be gone. I deserve it. Hello, my beautiful friends. Hi, how is it going? I figured that I would check in with you on my book. Damn. I'm almost 100 pages in, and the main character, Pasha, is now furthering his journey to try to get to the orphanage. So right now, this book just feels like it is kind of taking every possible scenario and aligning it with Pasha's storyline to show the traumatic and startling events that was the war in Ukraine. It's just kind of, I'm reading it very slow to digest and take in everything that's going on. I'm also trying to align it with a lot of what I'm seeing and what I'm able to kind of lend to the storyline as far as visuals of Kiev that I'm in right now. This doesn't take place in Kiev, but just to kind of help me go along with the story, that's what I'm using. I've got something in my hair, but it's really depressing so far. It's very dark, but I think that the writing is fantastic, and right now it's just like this very confusing time for the main character Pasha, so I will continue to keep you updated. And the nails were achieved. Okay, so just look. Beautiful, 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 right? Is it light? What is it? Oh no, it's just a casual sink lantern. Oh yeah, and you know, here's the door. Hello.
It's you.
It is me. I am leaving. Good morning. Can't you tell that I just woke up? It is significantly colder in Ukraine. I waited a little while to make sure that my swelling went down before I got back on camera, because after that wrap up, baby, woof. I am currently trying to re-find a cafe that I fell in love with. And I hope that I can find it because it's amazing. Hopefully this car doesn't hit me. It didn't hit me. I'm alive. I just wanted to check in on like the craziest week of my life. So I got my wisdom teeth taken out and I was lying in bed in the morning about 8 o'clock our time, about 2 o'clock in the morning, or roughly 1-ish in the morning in New York City. And Oleg beautifully taps me on the shoulder and says, "Do you want to hear something crazy?" I was like, "Of course. That's exactly how I want to wake up." And he goes, "Our apartment flooded." I was like, "Baby, that's not crazy. That's horrible." Our apartment totally flooded in New York. I will have the video rolling over here as I'm talking for you to look at the misfortune, but you know, we're very lucky. Everybody was safe. It could have been 10 times worse. The friends that were staying at our place ended up successfully moving all of our items out, and I mean, we couldn't have asked for better people to be staying there. They took care of us really, really well, and the majority of our items were salvageable, minus the couch, one of our tables, and a rug, and maybe the bed frame, but that's fine. Could be a lot worse. Could definitely be a lot worse. So we're very lucky, you know. My heart breaks for the people that were unable to get out of their apartments. Horrible. So yeah, that's what's going on with my life here for about another month longer, which is amazing. I feel like a local. I love it. I don't want to leave. Maybe I won't. No, I'll stay. I'll stay in New York. Today I'm going to finish the orphanage and give you a wrap up of that. And then I'll be going on to Lev Tolstoy's How Much Land Does a Man Need? I think is the name. All right, let's see if I can find this place. Found it. Hi, how's it going? Do you see the sunshine? It's here. It's alive. It's thriving. I'm thriving because of this sunshine and my Boogie Nights shirt. I figured that I would do a little wrap-up, a very quick, brief wrap-up of the books that I read. Finished The Orphanage, we know this, I'll get into that very briefly, and then I finished 2 parables by Lev Tolstoy, if you will. But before all that, you saw the books. You saw those stacks of books, you saw that labyrinth of books. Oh my god, I'm dying. There is like a piece of cardboard floating through the air. It's kind of beautiful. Like that scene out of American Beauty. Anyway, in the amazing labyrinth of books, I didn't really have that much hope, that much faith for finding something that wasn't just a super classic book translated into English. So my idea was to maybe do a little bit more classics because that was what was most accessible on this trip. But I was in this little tiny kiosk with these dusty books, you know, breathing in the smell of mildew and mice shit. I found the UK version of Lisa Taddeo's Animal. Which, you know what, I've already read the first sentence and I've already decided it's probably going to be very cringe. I can't tell if it's an advanced reader's copy, but it has the feel of it. Also, I thought that I liked this cover more than the US version, but I hate this. Feels very Animorph, if you know what I mean. I don't really have the most confidence in that book, but I'm happy that I have it. It was really neat to see a brand new release in this old book market, which was arguably one of the most exciting and beautiful things that I've seen in a long time. So, let me just quickly wrap up with you the books that I read, my final opinions on them, then I'll let you go on with your day. So first and foremost, I have The Orphanage by Serhiy Zhadan. Wow, this book, this was tough. This was a really tough book. So yeah, I've outlined the premise, but I'll just kind of reiterate it a little bit more just so it's in a very concise way of delivering it. This follows Pasha. He's a 35-year-old Ukrainian teacher, and he is trying to get his nephew Sasha out of an orphanage that's currently in occupied Ukraine. And it takes place in about 4 days. 4 days in the winter. The best way to describe this, and what I kept on kind of referring to in my brain, is that it feels like if you've ever seen the movie 28 Days Later. It feels like this alienated experience, but with these outlying characters that kind of create this whole journey, and it feels like everything is against you. It felt like a video game in a weird way, and I hate to compare it to that because it's a very real experience, but it felt that way. Every single page felt like he was hiding in a bunker. He was meeting these characters. There was these enemies stacked against him. Your heart was pounding for him to try to get out of this horrible situation, and it just felt like there was absolutely no resolution. It was great though. I mean, up until probably page 300, it's just a catastrophe. But I think what made it more unnerving was the fact that this is truth. You can compare it to an unbelievable movie or an unbelievable video game. That's what it feels like, but it is truth, and this is what happened to a lot of people. I don't know, it was just really, really hard. If you read Human Axis, has a very strong alliance with that sort of storytelling. It tells very normal civilians going through this horrendous and unbelievable circumstance. Uprisings, exactly what this is dealing with. Also, I do want to say that the way that Zhadan writes as well is that he has this way of sort of orienting and pinpointing exactly how he wants to talk about people. Certain characters he will identify by name, but other ones he uses pseudonyms like Sir, Yellow Teeth. It really kind of gives you this strong sense of who's fleeting and who is permanent in the fight. I don't know, I thought it was amazing. I mean, I probably give this like 4.5 stars. At times it did feel a little bit hard to digest. There were moments that just felt like, I can't do this, I can't read this anymore. Also, the writing in this is like poetry. Definitely have some things that I've dog-eared. So I think that this is it. It has these little minute examples of how war has affected people. I was talking about these little girls in the orphanage and how their face is covered in makeup. My camera just fell. Where was I? He's talking about how these little girls, they come out and their face is covered in makeup. And he realizes that in order to preoccupy themselves, to not think about what's going on, they've learned the craft of makeup. They've learned how to distract themselves from what's going on by putting on this whole face of makeup and kind of almost camouflaging themselves and putting on this mask of identity. Oh my God, the way that he writes about it is just so beautiful. And at first, Pasha doesn't realize what's going on. Then suddenly it hits him. All three of them are wearing makeup. Thick, showy makeup, just like the older women around here wear. At first, Pasha's surprised, but then he starts to understand. Well, what else are they supposed to do down here in the basement? They sit around and do each other's makeup so things won't be so scary. But they still are. You sold me. Definitely prepare yourself for a difficult undertaking, but you will enjoy this wholeheartedly if you know what you're getting into and you want to learn about a part of history. Fantastic. I loved it. And then we have Leo Tolstoy. This was great. This was the two parables of how much land does a man need and what men live by. I've actually never read any Tolstoy before. Bought this in a bookstore here in Ukraine, and this is probably one of my favorite things I've read this year. It has like a very biblical feel to it, which I know is not everybody's cup of tea, but I think that this just reinforms you of what reading is capable of registering, recalibrating your brain, and showing you different ways to think. All of these are very simple. You know, they're dealing with the ideas of greed and love and what humans sustain by more than luxuries and goods. This is amazing, and the writing is not flamboyant in nature. I read this in just, you know, an hour or two, and I thought that it was one of the most moving and significant pieces of work that I have read in a very long time, and it kind of restored my faith in just how much you can be moved by a novel. This really did it for me, and I am really, really piqued to read more Tolstoy. I thought that this was fantastic. And I got a % off coupon from the bookstore that I bought it from. All right, guys, being propped up by an Algene bottle. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Шли через кладбище с просто сало,